In January, we did my annual 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance program where we looked at one thing you could do each day. Well, we're back with the Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where we bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. In the chaotic world of 2025 and beyond, compliance will become even more important, and you staying on top of your game will help your company move forward. Now a word from the sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
To the compliance tip of the day, this week we're going to look at compliance tips that compliance professionals can use to up their compliance game. Today we begin with the business case for compliance and how compliance can drive greater ROI and profitability. First, let's look at the ethics premium, which was, of course, developed by Ethisphere on their collected data on its World's Most Ethical Company Awards. The Ethisphere Award shows that since between 2010 and 2020, the performance gap of companies who won this award increased from 4.5% to 13.5%. Clearly, ethical business is not just surviving, but thriving in competitive markets. And the message is clear that investors, customers, and stakeholders place greater value on companies with strong ethical foundations. Academic research also supports compliance as a profit driver. George Serafin and Paul Healy, in their paper, An Analysis of Firms' Self-Reported Anti-Corruption Efforts, found that companies with robust compliance programs perform better in financially high-risk and corruption-prone countries compared with those with weaker programs. One of their key findings was that companies without strong compliance programs, despite high sales, experience a negative return on equity of between 24 to 30%. In contrast, companies that invested in compliance infrastructure were better equipped to navigate challenging business environments, sustain long-term growth, and protect shareholder value. So we have seen how companies can actually improve their compliance programs, improve their ROI through more effective compliance programs. I think this is going to be even more critical going forward, as compliance can also be seen as a business efficiency tool. It can improve quote-to-cash, sales cycles, the procure-to-pay or P2P procurement cycle, and certainly third-party risk management. The bottom line is that ethical companies perform better. Research proves it. Real-world success validates it. Businesses should invest in compliance, not simply from the regulatory aspect, but now I think it's even more important from the business aspect. So what are today's three key takeaways? Number one, never forget the ethics premium and what Ethisphere has taught us over the past 15 or 20 years. Two, greater returns. You get greater return on your investments, as shown by George Serafin and Paul Healy, and you're protected by having a compliance program. And finally, number three, data. What does your data tell you? It's all about compliance, or rather data-driven compliance, and you as a compliance professional having access to this. The DOJ has told us that compliance must have access to the data. Now you have that access, and now you can use that access to demonstrate greater ROI through compliance. This is Tom Fox again. This new podcast, Compliance Tip of the Day, will appear daily, and frankly, it's one of the most requested topics for a podcast that I get on a regular basis. It's going to be short and sweet with one tip with some takeaways that you can utilize to implement into your compliance program. If you've got a question that you would like a tip on, please submit them through our website, and we will use them in an upcoming episode. The compliance tip of the day is a production of the award-winning Compliance Podcast Network. Finally, this podcast contains promotional material.